I mean, I'm in real dire straits right now because in April, you know, you got all this stuff coming up. You got my mortgages that I'm stuck with, my 2 mortgages, and, you know, all these other payments and things coming in, business expenses and everything. In addition, I got to do my taxes, which I haven't even done yet. I have to do my taxes, which I know I'm going to owe money. And then I have to pay my accountant, which is expensive. And I'm only going to get like 60% of what I normally get on YouTube. There's no way I'm paying my 27. If you pledge to my Patreon by the end of March, I get that money the first week of April. That money will go directly towards the bills so that I can pay them for the month of April, okay? And the other thing is, if you're watching my live streams on Twitch, all right, if you tip me, meaning if you actually send me that tip, the way you do that is when you're watching me on Twitch, underneath my Twitch channel, there's a page with all this info, my rules and links to everything. There's a section that says tips. If you click on that, it brings you to my tips page where you can send me a tip via the stream. That money I get right now. So I can immediately apply that money to my bills as well. If enough people help me by pledging to Patreon by the end of this month, the next 4 days or so, by buying stuff on Teespring or by tipping me on Twitch, I should be okay, but I don't know. Right now, I'm nowhere near close enough. And as you guys and gals know, with YouTube, which completely the bottom fell out of it earlier this year, ad revenue plummeted, really live streaming and the cheering, the subbing, the tipping, all that has become my life's blood. In fact, as I've told you guys, Twitch is now about 50% of my income. It is. Twitch has become massively more important to me, live streaming and the interaction that we get because of, you know, the difference in balance now, the difference of my streaming and everything. That being said, I'm going to be away for 5 days, and because I'm going to be away for 5 days, that means there will be no subbing, tipping, or cheering for 5 days. That's huge, because 5 days away of a 30-day month, that's a good, 1/6 of the month, and that's a big dip in income that I need to pay my bills. So, what I would ask is that while you're watching my Dark Souls 2 playthrough, right, and or anything else I'm streaming between now and the time that I'm off, please be aware that I am going to be away, and I do need, whatever support you can lend. Cheering, subbing, tipping helps me tremendously. If you could be maybe a little bit more generous during the next week, since I'll be away for 5 days, I'd appreciate that, alright? Keep in mind, I'm not asking you to go out of your way and go crazy. I'm just saying, be aware that if I have 5 days this month with no income, and I come back, and now I have a big dip in revenue, that just means there's less stuff I can do. Maybe I won't be able to cover every new release coming up in the next few months because I can't afford it, right? Any game with zombies, monsters, or survival always has a sewer level. We all know this. Holy crap, shout out to King Jezel, who just did a 30,000 bit cheer. That is the biggest cheer I've ever gotten at once. That is 100% the biggest cheer I've ever gotten at once. So King Jezel, I'm pretty convinced will be the cheerleader for today's stream. And thank you very much for the support, sir. It's very much appreciated. Actually good to see you, because I know I've only seen you for a few streams recently. And good that you have come out to check out Evil Within 2 today. By the way, Viking, I don't know if you're aware of this. You may not be, because it didn't actually stick for long. The other day, King Jezel did a 30,000 bit cheer, which, if I remember correctly, I think you were the previous largest cheer holder. I believe you had done a 28,000 bit cheer or something like that, and King Jezel beat you out. And I was looking because I was like, oh man, Viking's gonna see this on the leaderboard, and he's gonna be like, oh man. But I just realized the leaderboard actually doesn't show largest cheer. I think that should be something that they should actually add to the leaderboard for the the plug-in leaderboard that I have with the extensions here on Twitch. It should be like biggest cheer for the week, the stream, the week, the month, all time, and then it should have biggest individual cheer of all time. Because I gotta try to keep it in my head, who's the biggest of all time, and right now it's King Jezel. And people here are like, hint, hint, hint. I'm not saying that Viking has to do a larger cheer. I just know that he's very competitive about it. He always was trying. I remember there was the day when he did that giant cheer was because someone else had done a ginormous cheer that had overcome his last large cheer, and he got pissed about it. 379 subs. We're only 10 points away from getting another emo. Amazing. This is the highest subs I've ever had. 379. 30,500 bits. 13 new subs for tonight. And after looking at our totals here, all right, we can do the math, ladies and gentlemen. It is official. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to all of your contributions, your tips, your patron pledges. Not only does it look like I'm probably going to be good on my taxes at the end of January, I hope. I won't have the totals until mid-January, but I hope from what we saw tonight, I'll be good.
Of any kind.
The problem is the Patreon is supposed to compensate for a gap of release in the schedule. It's like, hey, I can't put out a video every day, so I'm not going to get that ad revenue or all this attention or whatever, so I need this Patreon because, there's a gap in my content. But instead, Patreon becomes, hey, I'm getting all this ad revenue for all this content I'm pumping out. Why don't you give me more money? And that's it.
Yeah. I just don't know how anyone can really justify saying to a group of people that they're gonna say straight-faced, hey, I need your money so I can buy a computer, so I can buy games, so I can buy, this microphone, so I can play games.
Having said that, please go support us on Patreon at patreon.com.
Yes, I want to make that clear. Our Patreon has been incredibly helpful to all three of us. There's no way to actually convince you guys of it, but I now stream every goddamn game purely because of the Patreon. Yes, I stream every game, man.
I don't get why people cannot simply say, hey, if you want to support us, do it because you want to.
Right.
Like, you like this content, you want to give it money. When people go to our Patreon, they like, for just $1 a month, they get extra content, right?
Right.
And we don't have to write up like 2 pages of text like Onision does, where we're gonna starve if you don't donate $1 to our Patreon.
That's what bothers me. It's the sob
that
stories.
attitude, right?
Yeah.
Like these again. You play video games.
Nobody owes you shit.
This is something you were gonna do anyway.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't difficult content. You don't need a big budget for it. What are you talking about?
I know times are tough, and if you're creating something you're passionate about and your day job isn't covering the gap in the money, I get it. That's hard. And you can ask people. You can be honest. You can say, hey, listen, times are tough for me. Obviously, if you guys like what I'm making right now, if you like this thing, whether it's in a series or a podcast or animation, whatever the fucking music. If you want to support that, it would help so much. But to sit there and stare in the microphone and tell people that they need to give you money, and there are people like DSP and shit, who fucking say, you guys aren't giving enough. I need more. How am I supposed to pay for this house? I give everything I got. I've been playing games, blah, blah, blah. And tough, times are tough. Life is hard, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, nobody owes you shit. Especially your fans. They're already supporting you by watching you, by caring about what you make. To sit there and try to squeeze money out of people in every opportunity, I don't get it. I don't get it. And you know what? Some people are happy to do it. Honest supporters are like, they're unfazed by it. They want to help. They want to be there. And that's great. That is so awesome. And that's why Patreon works, because there are so many generous, awesome people. But to have creators like reprimand their fans for not being supportive enough, that is that entitlement mentality and I know people hate that word, but there are a lot of entitled motherfuckers that should have been spanked a lot more as kids. They needed to be bullied more, honestly.
Well, thank you to everyone who did cheer, sub, and tip today. Sadly, a slow day in that regard, meaning I'm pretty boned today. I pretty much made no money doing anything. I finished Metal Gear Solid 3, which was good, but I'm not gonna make any money on YouTube for those fucking videos. So what I'm hoping is,
Burnell,
what do you do with my $10,000 if I give it to you?
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills.